Inspire Calgary. Today we decided to bring you to meet our new small business here in Calgary. We know that COVID came and most of us is struggling with that. Let's go inside and meet this small business. Today I'm going to present to you Maykel, a hairstylist here in Calgary who decided to open his business during COVID. Isn't it crazy? Let's go inside and check it out.
Hello, come in.
Maykel, thanks for having us here today. Thank you, Maykel, for having us over. And tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you guys over. I'm doing hair for almost 20 years now, and I've been first left Brazil and I spent 10 years in Europe. I went for 2 different countries there. I first moved to Portugal, and then I spent some time in England, and then I moved to Canada almost 9 years ago. And I've been doing hair for a long time. And when I first came to Canada itself, I moved to Edmonton, and I was there for 2.5 years working in a hair salon as a work visa. And then I moved here, and then I got my permanent residency, and I moved to Calgary, and I started working in a salon in Kensington. And when I first got here, I thought it was just easier for me to, even though I had experience, but I thought it was easier for me to integrate in the community and have more experience with how business works here before I start to work with my own. And I thought it was 6 months ago. I think it was January. I was keen on open my own salon, and I was you know what? I think now is the time. I have my clientele and I have the skills. And once I felt that I wasn't getting any feedback from the company wasn't adding anything for my work, and I was you know what? It's time for me to go on my own and start a new project. And I was eager for more. And when I think it was February, when I was passing by and I saw the sign in front of a soda, and I was you know what, I think
it's a really, it is really hard working with people when a time that you just need to stay stuck at home.
Mm-hmm.
And how was for you dealing with all of that and dealing with the emotion, I can say, and you know, I can say anxiety and happiness for opening a new business. How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. I think for me it was a little bit of I just had to put a mindset of know what I had to do. And it's definitely been hard. I mean, for the first once we are all closing and you stay at home and not doing anything, it's no, first you have to go through the process of you cannot get close to anyone, you cannot talk to anyone, you can you know, anything can happen anywhere. And then I was that was happened in the first month, because I didn't leave my place for just going to the grocery store maybe for once a week for the first month.
Yeah.
And then I was you know what, it's I'm opening and I have to do something. And then I was I started to just work on everything that I needed to open my salon, which kind of was good for me, because I think got me in a mode, head mode that I was no, it is what it is. And we just have to everyone has to do their own part and try to be safe. And but at the same time, it's nice to have a project. It was really nice for me at least to have a project that I was working on. And I think when I first came back to work itself, it was especially I being locked out for so long. it's hard to be like close to people. And especially like once I first came back, I worked for 2 weeks at my old salon because this place wasn't ready yet because it was still finished construction. So it was like coming back to a salon that had like at the time it was like 15 people maximum plus like the spa upstairs and the reception. So it's like you don't see anyone ever, and then suddenly, even like once you go grocery shopping, you don't like have the distance, and then suddenly you're like in an environment that you're like you have people running around you all the time with masks and clean, but at the same time like you have a lot of people like close to you. And you're like, oh my god, it's definitely like anxiety.
And you need to get close to people, right? You need to touch their hair, and you know. And sometimes you just talk like close face to face because you need to check if the cut was right and the color was right, if you need to change something. And I think it would cause me like a lot of anxiety.
Absolutely. I mean, like especially like the first like 2-3 weeks is something that are like, yes, you just have to put in your mind that like, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And in the end, like, you know, we have to make money.
And we need to live, right? So we cannot just stay stuck at home.
Absolutely.
That's something that I need to work on my mind. So I remember the first time after COVID that I got the C-trait, but I thought that I would die. You know, like I had like some panic attack. I was like, man, I'm here, the virus is all around me and I need to survive. I think you had the same feeling, right?
Absolutely. But I mean, like, I find so interesting how humans can adapt for situations like that, especially because I mean, like, when we all like had to come back, we all have like the same feeling of like how afraid we are and how scary everything is, like with everything that's happening around us. And I would say like after a few months, like coming back to work, we know exactly like what we have to do and not to do to keep ourselves like working and to keep ourselves like healthy and you know like safe.
To be honest, or we adapt or we don't leave.
Exactly.
Because I think this is now the new world. You know, like we need to live with this COVID stuff. We cannot just say we will not wake up someday and just say, oh, we are COVID free now. You know, like I don't think we have that.
Absolutely.
And what do you think are your biggest challenge?
Ooh, I think like nowadays we have like so many different, not only different but like so many more challenges than like it would be about like if I was just like opening a salon before. Because before COVID it would be just like no, you're open if you have like a business plan and then you move in. The only thing that you have to think about like there are a few things but like do a good job and try to be professional and you know like advertisements and like you know and try to get busy and try to have like a solid clientele. I think nowadays just like for example before I used to have like for example if I had 300 clients and the clients would come like every 4 to 6 weeks. Now those are like moving to a new place, it's like you don't have like as many clientele already, and then not only you don't have like that many clientele, but the people like they don't come every 4 weeks, they come like every 6 to 3 months.
Because they are free, right?
Yes. And they like you know they don't need the hair like done as much as they
You're
used to.
free at home.
So it's definitely like a lot of like a lot of like challenge there. You know, like because I mean like you don't have like as many clientele that you used to, and people it's like everyone's afraid, you know, like to go out and I mean like anything that happens like last week, like when we started talking about like the numbers growing, it's something that like everyone stops like no, I'm not going out, I'm not gonna spend money because we don't know like how it's gonna be the economy. We don't know like something's gonna happen like once you get out.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a lot of things to think about and in the end just like no, we just have to do your work, try to do your best and be patient, you know, be understanding.
And I think people are afraid to spend money. Of course, doing your hair, it's important for our self-esteem, but it's not something important to live. So I think people are more conservative on where they will spend this money. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for having us here today, it was a pleasure talking with you and understand a little bit more about your business and how it was to work during COVID. Because most of us just stay at home and work at home, and I think you cannot work from home. You know, like you cannot just working through a computer. You need to be there. You need to touch people's hair. You need to be in contact with people. So I think for me, for my understanding, it is harder. So thank you for sharing with us your experience. and it was a pleasure. I hope you all enjoy it and see you next week.